Welcome to JTS FASTLANE full match card and storylines breakdown. This is a pay-per-view event with 3 matches as usual, and let's get on with the first match that will kick off the show. So it will be a triple threat match that will kick off the show. It will be Brock Lesnar taking on Seth Rollins, taking on Randy Orton in a triple threat match to determine the next challenger for the YouTube champion, the rated R superstar Edge. So I have to say that this match was not actually planned that long. This was a last minute plan. So I have to say that I actually think that to have a tournament for GTS Wrestling. But because of some issues, some reasons, and because it will take that long, we'll take a numerous of GTS Wrestling episodes, and since we don't have time to film all the matches and all that stuff, and that's why that plan of having a tournament that will determine the next challenger for the YouTube champion Edge has been screwed. So yes, I have to say that this pay-per-view event Fastlane was also a last-minute plan. You see, Plan A was supposed to have a tournament, was supposed to have a numerous of GTS wrestling episodes, and then we'd have GTS Mania 6. But because it will take that long and all that stuff, and that's why we have this pay-per-view event Fastlane to be a short run so that we don't have to do the tournament. And yeah, so this story started off at GTS Wrestling after GTS Revolution when Edge and Seth Rollins come out to the ring and celebrate the win over Randy Orton, and that's when Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar came out to the ring and they want a challenge, and the general manager come up and as he all thought that Brock was going to take on Randy Orton to determine the next challenger, but he decided to have Seth Rollins in it, which is the disciple of the Rated R Superstar Edge. Then the next week, which is the last episode of GTS Wrestling, when Brock Lesnar take on Randy Orton, what is one of the best match in the history of GTS Wrestling, when two of the greatest generational talents of GTS Wrestling collided. It was nice. It was one of the so far as the nicest match in GTS Wrestling, and we have Brock Lesnar victorious. And yeah, so I think so that wraps up with the first match of the show. The next match to talk about is the Intercontinental Championship clash between Sheamus and The Miz. Like I said in the first match, that was supposed to have a tournament. So this match was not actually planned. This pay-per-view was not actually planned, but instead of saying the same thing again, let's go on and tell how this came up. So it was last episode of Jace Wrestling when Sheamus and The Miz was involved in a war of words, a brawl backstage. And the story comes up when Sheamus and Seth Rollins were in to a fight. When Seth Rollins was issuing an open challenge, Sheamus answered it and they went on to fight for like 3 or 4 minutes. And it was the closing stages of the match when Sheamus hits Rollins with his finishing move, and then The Miz would interrupt that match. He would take out Sheamus from the pinfall, which the referee never saw. Miz was about to hit with the Intercontinental Champion to the face of Sheamus, but he reversed and hitting the post. Then Sheamus broke kicked Miz, and then he said never interrupt his match. Then he went on to the ring, Seth Rollins with a curb stomp and picked the victory. But that was not over. After the match, Miz would smash Sheamus with his Intercontinental Champion. And then he said that he will give Sheamus a shot at that Intercontinental Champion. And yes, a 3 Stages of Hell match, the match you all been waiting for, Orford versus Triple H 3 in one of the most dangerous stipulations in JTS Wrestling. So this stipulation, 3 Stages of Hell, debuted back at Double or Nothing when Edge took on Brock Lesnar in one of the most violent matches in the history of this company. And we will get to this 3 Stages of Hell match stipulation in a bit. But let's talk on the match, how this came up. So, like I said in the first match, that this pay-per-view was not actually planned, but this match was planned a long time ago, back on February, when I decided to have Orford versus Triple H in a long-term storytelling. So it all started when Triple H and Orford fought on Revolution in a 2 out of 3 falls match where Orford picks up the victory, but it did not end there. After the match, Orford was getting blindsided by Triple H, and he went on to drop some F words on him on the outside. He throws him above the door, and then he puts him through a blanket. And that was setting a statement to Orford. And after that match, we go on to JTS Wrestling. It was one of the episodes in August when Orford took on Triple H in a tables, ladders, and chairs match. And that match is where Triple H won the world title. So the finish of that match was Triple H from the top of the door handle pedigrees Orford through the table. Then he climbs up and retrieves the world champion. And in the last episode of JTS Wrestling, where Triple H and Orford were in a war of words, were in a promo battle between the two, and it all set up when Triple H doesn't want to fight Orford, whereas Orford keeps on calling him names. Then Triple H had no idea, had no other way but to accept his match. And he said, name the stipulation, and Orford, no hesitation, and say 3 stages of hell. And let's talk about the stipulation now. Let's talk about a 3 stages of hell. So the first fall will be a normal match, a normal classic professional wrestling match. Then the second fall will be an over-the-top battle royal. And some of you may not seem familiar, and let me just go through about that match. So that match will be no pinfalls, no submissions. The only way to win that match is to throw your opponent through the top rope with both feet hitting the floor. And we go on with the third fall, if necessary, will be an I Quit match. And for that match, the only way to win is to say I quit. You have to put on everything. You have to torture your opponent. You have to put on all the punishments till your opponent say I quit. But if one of these two picks up 2 falls, then we would not have that third fall, because a 3 stages of hell match is a 2 out of 3 falls match, but with stipulations added. And that wraps up this JTS FASTLANE full Matchcard and storylines breakdown. I'm really looking forward to film this pay-per-view event. This pay-per-view event will be live exclusively on YouTube this month on the 4th week, the final week of October. And until then, see you at JTS FASTLANE.